I've had a few thoughts recently just through some study I've been doing and some reflections about an idea that's not that common to probably many of us. As Brits, we have this stiff upper lip mentality where we're told to kind of just press on and persevere through tough times and not be moved. Resilience and perseverance are kind of the things that we promote, and they're not bad things, they're good things. But sometimes I think it's good to let ourselves be moved, and to bring our pain to God, and bring our upset to God, and bring our questions to God. Because the Bible does that. Jesus was a man who was moved. That the psalmists, the people who wrote the Psalms, were moved, deeply moved in their hearts with pain and heartfelt cries to God. And probably the most famous person who was moved was Jeremiah. He was named the Weeping Prophet. He wrote a book called Jeremiah, which was him pleading with the nation of Israel to return to relationship with God. And they didn't, ultimately. And what happened is the nation of Israel went into exile under the captivity of the Babylonians, and that forced Jeremiah to write another book. And the name of the book is Lamentations. And this idea of lamenting, this kind of crying to God in pain, bringing our upset before God. And that's what Jeremiah does in the book of Lamentations. He just sees the situation around him that's really difficult. He sees the pain that's been caused to his people, and he just lays it out before God, really honestly. And that's what lamenting is. Lamenting is just being brutally honest in our circumstances and bringing our pain and our hurt before God. But lamenting is a very Christian thing as well. It doesn't just stop there. It doesn't just end in despair. Christian lament brings our pain and our suffering to God. And God is ultimately a God of hope. And that's where Christian lament is so unique. Because when we bring our pain, when we allow ourselves to be moved, get rid of the stiff upper lip mentality, and bring our lament to God, we're confronted with hope. And that's exactly what Jeremiah was confronted with when he writes the book of Lamentations. It's a pretty heavy read. I'm just looking at it now. Just my eyes come to this. My eyes fail from weeping. I am in torment within. My heart is poured out on the ground because my people are destroyed. He's really hurting. And then in chapter 3, he says, I remember my affliction and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall, and I remember them. My soul is downcast within me. It's just a full book of this kind of pouring out his hurt before God. But then in verse 20 it says this, verse 21, Yet I call this to mind, and therefore I have hope. Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. I say to myself, the Lord is my portion, therefore I will wait for him. The Lord is good to those whose hope is him, whose hope is in him, to those who seek him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord. Jeremiah brings his honesty, his honest kind of cries to God. He just honestly tells God what his situation and reality is. He's not afraid to weep before God. He's not afraid to be honest before God. And in the middle of that, he's confronted with the God of hope. He's confronted with God's great love, his compassions that never fail, that are new every morning, God's faithfulness. And I think that's the great beauty of lament. We have a God who wants to hear our deepest cries, who doesn't want us to necessarily be resilient and persevere with that stiff upper lip, but he wants us to be honest. And in that honesty, we find God's love, we find his compassion, we find his hope. And I hope that's encouraging to you. And I hope that you might be able to bring your lament before God and be confronted with the hope that God brings. Hope you have a great day. God bless.